Princess Anastasia Part 3. In the flourishing kingdom of Tanzania, peace, prosperity, and happiness enveloped the land, a testament to the kindness and virtue of its people and their diligent ruler King Reuben. He tirelessly dedicated himself to ensuring the well-being of his citizens remained buoyant and thriving, yet in stark contrast to Tanzania's abundance, its neighboring kingdom of Luxembourg found itself languishing in misery. It was this grave news that a messenger brought to King Reuben on a sun-drenched day. The messenger conveyed a dire situation. All crops in Luxembourg had withered. King Reuben, astonished, questioned how this could be, given that Luxembourg was renowned as the lushest and most fertile land on all of earth. The messenger explained that for the past 1 month, every attempt to grow crops, vegetables, or fruits resulted in them somehow catching fire, destroying acres of land in their wake. Initially, they suspected it was an act of mischief, but upon guarding their fields, they observed a strange phenomenon. The moment their crops began to grow and approach readiness for weeding, they would spontaneously wither and ignite. Consequently, even the royal reserve was almost empty, leaving the people hungry and dying with folded hands. The messenger delivered King Holger's plea for assistance in their time of adversity. King Reuben, without hesitation, pledged his support, acknowledging Luxembourg's past assistance to other neighbors in need. True to his word, King Reuben dispatched a massive stock of wheat, grains, fruits, vegetables, and other essential necessities in dozens of carts. However, the moment these carts crossed into Luxembourg's border, the bags of wheat and grains inexplicably caught fire, causing despair to flood the eyes of Luxembourg's suffering populace. Realizing the gravity and the seemingly impossible nature of the situation, King Reuben declared it was time to call upon his daughter, Princess Anastasia. He summoned her urgently, referring to her by her heroic moniker Super Asia. Princess Anastasia, also known as Su Per Asia, who was engaged in some sort of activity that had someone apologizing to her and declaring they would never enter Tanzania again, promptly responded to her father's summons. King Reuben informed her about Luxembourg's profound misfortune, detailing how the most fertile land on earth was now suffering. Anastasia expressed her shock. King Reuben then explained that it was their responsibility to help Luxembourg in their time of need and asked Anastasia to discover the cause of the strange events. Understanding the gravity of the task, Anastasia agreed to leave at once and set out for Luxembourg. As she rode through dense woods, a huge saber-toothed tiger suddenly appeared, roaring gloriously. Anastasia, surprised, questioned if saber-toothed tigers hadn't gone extinct a long time ago. The tiger, however, revealed itself to be Queen Ursa, the fairy queen, who had merely been testing Anastasia. They exchanged greetings, and Queen Ursa inquired about Anastasia's well-being and that of Tiara Land. Queen Ursa confirmed that Tiara Land was well and that the fairies missed Anastasia. She also revealed that she knew about Luxembourg's plight and had come specifically to speak with Anastasia. Queen Ursa explained that the soil of Luxembourg was cursed, meaning no food would ever grow in that land, and any attempts to grow or import crops would result in them setting ablaze. Anastasia questioned who had cast such a curse. Queen Ursa identified the culprit as Witch Arabelle, one of the most powerful witches in the world. Queen Ursa expressed her surprise, noting that Arabelle had never done anything like this before, speculating that perhaps she had turned greedy. Anastasia concurred with this thought, and Queen Ursa warned that if this were the case, they must beware, for what afflicted Luxembourg today could affect Tiara Land or Tanzania tomorrow. Anastasia vowed never to let that happen, and Queen Ursa encouraged her resolve. Seeking guidance, Anastasia asked what she should do. Queen Ursa advised her to go to the witch Find out why she was doing this. She provided detailed instructions for reaching which Arabelle's abode. Arabelle lived in a cave on the island of Non-Keys, which was heavily guarded by giants and automaton witches. Forming her army to reach it, Anastasia would have to cross the 7 seas. The island was located on the southeastern side. Queen Ursa pointed out that it was a new moon day, making it the perfect time for Anastasia to sneak past the giants during the dark night, as they would be lazily lounging around. However, she cautioned against haste once past the giants, as the automaton witches possessed sharp night vision and moved about the land at night. Anastasia was instructed to seek shelter under a big banyan tree near the cave, which would keep her out of the automaton witch's sight. The opportune moment to make her move towards the cave would be when the sun rose and the witches flew up into the sky on their broomsticks. Queen Ursa further advised that Anastasia would need a companion to help her cross the 7 seas. She introduced Argentavis, a giant bird who would drop Anastasia at the edge of the island away from the giant's sight, from which point Anastasia would be on her own. Anastasia thanked the fairy queen before departing. Queen Ursa shared a crucial secret, which Arabelle's soul resided in the head of her shadow, advising Anastasia to remember this and attack there if things came to worse. With a final all the best, Anastasia called upon Argentavis and embarked on her journey. Upon reaching the island, Argentavis dropped her off. Anastasia successfully moved past the lazy giants slyly and arrived at the huge banyan tree, where she stopped and sat down, resolving to keep her eyes open. Anastasia waited through the night, her eyes unblinking. As the sun rose, the automaton witches mounted their broomsticks and flew up into the sky, beginning to move around the cave in a circular motion. Anastasia knew this was her moment to act, however, as she began to scurry towards the caves. He stepped into a heap of dry leaves that cracked loudly under her shoes, making a distinct noise. A voice boomed, "What? Who is this destroying my witches? I will finish her." Which Arabelle, a majestic fighter, appeared and engaged Anastasia in combat. Anastasia observed that Arabelle was strong and quickly maneuvered to stand under the shade. Arabelle demanded to know her identity. Anastasia proudly declared, "They call me Super Asia. I am the Princess of Tamzanga and the savior of the innocent." Arabelle, acknowledging her identity, questioned why Anastasia sought a war with her. Anastasia stated her purpose. Arabelle had cursed the land of Lushburg, and Anastasia wanted her to lift the curse. Arabelle, realizing Anastasia was a sympathizer of Lushburg, mockingly suggested she go back, claiming Lushburg had received what it deserved. Anastasia countered that no kingdom deserved misery and demanded the curse be removed, or she would have to end it with Arabelle. Arabelle defiantly stated that would not happen, and displayed her power by manipulating fire. Anastasia, undeterred, reiterated her demand to remove the curse, but Arabelle scoffed, stating Anastasia did not scare her. Enraged by Anastasia's persistence, Arabelle declared, "Now you have angered me. Forget Lushburg now, I will come for your kingdom too." With fury blazing in her eyes, which Arabelle charged towards Anastasia, completely forgetting that she had come out of the shade with the sun shining brightly. Arabelle's shadow was now completely vulnerable. Anastasia, quick to seize the opportunity, delivered a fatal strike, causing Arabelle to collapse onto the ground. Anastasia approached the defeated, which Arabelle, weakened, questioned how Anastasia knew her secret, admitting that only Fairy Queen Ursa knew of her weakness in the entire world. Arabelle then offered to reveal why she cursed Lushburg. She revealed that King Holger of Lushburg had killed her son. Anastasia, shocked, asked why he would do such a thing. Arabelle expressed her ignorance of his motive, speculating it might be because her son was a son of a witch. She recounted that her son was drinking water by the river when the king shot him with an arrow, and then left without even bothering to see who he had struck down. Arabelle articulated the profound agony of a mother losing her child, describing it as the most painful feeling in the world. It was in her immense rage and fury that she had cursed Lushberg. Anastasia, deeply moved, apologized. Arabelle, surprised by Anastasia's strength, admitted she hadn't thought Anastasia would be able to defeat her, then added, "But you're a strong warrior, never change." Anastasia sat beside Arabelle's body, and the strong person in her broke down sobbing. After some time, Arabelle's body dissipated into the air with bright red sparkles. As soon as Arabelle vanished, a sudden transformation took place back in Lushberg. The people exclaimed as their crops were restored and fruits reappeared. On the trees, greenery was restored throughout the land, which see would only mean one thing: Anastasia had been successful, witnessing the return of their land's glory. The ecstatic crowd erupted in cheers and celebration. At that very moment, the giant Argentavis descended to the ground in Lushberg, and Anastasia dismounted. She thanked Argentavis. The people recognized her, cheering, "Hey, look, that's our savior, Princess Anastasia. Super Asia! Super Asia! Super welcome, Anastasia!" King Holger, grateful, thanked her profusely. However, Anastasia sharply retorted, "I don't want a perpetrator's thanks." King Reuben, her father, cautioned her to watch her tongue, but Anastasia pressed on, revealing the truth to her father. "Do you even know why all of this happened? Because of King Holger. He killed witch Arabelle's son, and that's why she cursed this land." King Holger vehemently denied the accusation, declaring, "Oh no, never. I will never kill an innocent." Anastasia then asked if he remembered going hunting in the jungles of Darna. King Holger confirmed he remembered going there, but he did not kill anyone. He explained that he went to hunt but found nothing worthwhile, as it was a ritual for a king not to return from hunting without shooting a single arrow. He shot a blank arrow at the river. He insisted that was all, and he did not kill anyone. Turning with his men and leaving the forest after releasing the arrow, Anastasia explained that his arrow had in fact hit the son of the witch King Holger. Apologetic stated he did not do it on purpose. He then made a solemn promise: "From today I promise to never go hunting, and I announce that no one from my kingdom ever does." King Reuben urged Anastasia to forgive the king, acknowledging it was a mistake. Anastasia accepted his apology and his thanks, and so Anastasia, accompanied by her father, departed from a now happy Lushberg and returned to Tanzania. The story concludes with a hint that more adventures of Super Asia are soon to come. Analysis of the narrative: the story intricately weaves a tale of a kingdom in peril, a heroic princess, and the complex motivations behind a curse, highlighting themes of responsibility, consequence, and understanding. The initial contrast between the prosperous Tanzania and the desolate Lushberg immediately establishes the stakes and the urgency of the conflict. The descriptive language regarding Lushberg's plight, such as crops withering and catching fire, paints a vivid picture of the severity of the curse, which is later revealed to be the work of witch Arabelle. The failure of King Reuben's initial aid with the supplies spontaneously combusting at the border underscores the supernatural nature and potent strength of the curse, signaling that conventional solutions would not suffice. This dramatically sets the stage for the introduction of Princess Anastasia, Super Asia, positioning her as the extraordinary individual capable of tackling such an insurmountable problem. Her informal yet effective combat style, as hinted by the Super Asia chants and the apology she receives, hints at her unique capabilities even before her formal mission is articulated. The encounter with Fairy Queen Ursa serves as a crucial turning point, transforming a mystery into a mission with clear objectives and invaluable guidance. Queen Ursa's detailed instructions on how to navigate the dangers of the island of non-keys, including timing her moves during the new moon and sunrise and utilizing the banyan tree for concealment. Not only provides a roadmap for Anastasia but also enhances the world building, revealing a magical realm with specific rules and powerful inhabitants like the giants and automaton, which is the revelation of which Arabelle's unique weakness, her soul residing in the head of her shadow, is a classic narrative device that provides the hero with a specific vulnerable target, elevating the intellectual challenge of the confrontation beyond mere brute force. The inclusion of Argentavis, the giant bird, further enriches the magical elements of the world and aids Anastasia's journey. The confrontat ion between Anastasia and which Arabelle is not merely a physical battle but a clash of wills and perspectives. Arabelle's initial arrogance and disdain for Lushburg, coupled with her immediate threat to Tanzania, establish her as a formidable antagonist. The battle's turning point, where Arabelle's rage blinds her to her own vulnerability in the bright sunlight, is a poetic moment symbolizing how intense emotion can lead to fatal misjudgment. Anastasia's quick thinking and precise application of the knowledge gained from Fairy Queen Ursa demonstrate her intelligence and adaptability. As a warrior, the post-battle revelation by which Arabelle is perhaps the most profound part of the story, transforming her from a one-dimensional villain into a tragic figure driven by immense grief. Her explanation of King Holger's unintentional killing of her son humanizes her, making her curse understandable, albeit devastating. This twist subverts the typical villain narrative, revealing that the curse was not born inherent malice or greed, but from a mother's excruciating pain and unaddressed fury. Anastasia's emotional response, breaking down and sobbing by Arabelle's dissipating body, underscores her empathy and depth of character, moving beyond the simple hero defeats villain trope to embrace a more nuanced understanding of suffering. This moment also signals the immediate lifting of the curse, linking the resolution directly to the witch's personal grief being acknowledged and her spirit finding some form of release. The subsequent confrontation with King Holger and his explanation provides the final piece of the puzzle, revealing the tragic chain of misunderstandings that led to Lushburg's suffering. King Holger's adherence to a hunting ritual, firing a blank arrow without ill intent, highlights how seemingly innocuous actions can have unforeseen and devastating consequences in a complex world. His immediate remorse and promise to cease hunting and to implement this ban kingdom-wide signify a profound lesson learned and a commitment to preventing future tragedies. Anastasia's eventual acceptance of his thanks and the return to a harmonious state in Lushburg and Tanzania bring the narrative to a satisfying conclusion, emphasizing forgiveness and reconciliation. The hint of future adventures of Super Asia suggests that the world is large and full of challenges that require both strength and wisdom, traits Anastasia has clearly demonstrated. The story overall champions the idea that genuine understanding and empathy are key to resolving conflicts, even those born of deep-seated pain and ancient magic.